Candle lit, gemstones on my nightstand. Clear quartz in a palm, squeezing my right hand. Outer space, baby, when we smoking the right strand. Looked me in my soul when I was holding the mic stand. Earthy lil' mama medicating the nighttime. Baby, so...
Alright guys, welcome back to WPOB, episode 9 of this podcast. I'm your host, Mellow15. Got my co-host. And I got a special guest with us today. You want to introduce yourself?
What's up, man? I go by the name of Jay Fiddy.
Yeah.
Seattle's finest.
Yeah, I'm super excited you guys are able to come through. Basically, before we start this off, have you watched any of the previous ones that we've done before?
Yeah, I've watched like Tay Zooted, the J King one, and a little bit of the God's Child.
And you got a good feel for like...
Yeah, man, you guys got a good thing going on here, man. You know, putting other artists on to a good platform, you know, like where we can express ourselves and shit. So you guys got a good thing going on.
You kind of like, I kind of got inspiration from you because you know, when I first met you, you would talk about networking with other artists and you would talk about how important that is. And at that moment, I would always be like, oh, okay, I would kind of brush it off, but like, and not brush off in a bad way, but
yeah,
you know what I mean?
I know what
now,
you mean, bro.
But now I'm just like, yeah, that's super important to do. So, well, if you want to let, for fans who don't know you personally, if you want to let them know how Jay Fiddy began his rap career.
Well, shit. I mean, I started rapping when I was in like 9th grade, you know, It was kind of like inspired because people told me I looked like Drake whenever I was like a freshman. Like I don't look anything like I do now. Like whenever I was in high school, but people always told me.
Did you have shorter hair back then?
Yeah, I had hella shorter hair, and this dude Josh Harris, he was like, "Bro, you look like Drizzy," and I didn't know who Drizzy was. I was like, "Who the fuck is this Drizzy dude?" And all of a sudden I figured out it was Drake. I was like, "Oh, he says I look like Drake," and then I started listening to Drake shit, and I was like, "You know what, bro? I could rap. Like I look like him. Like I should probably be a rapper too." And then like I just started rapping and writing, and yeah, that was like the beginning of it. But
I can see it. I can see the Drake thing if your hair was shorter.
Yeah,
exactly. I can see it, bro.
I was like, that's like the one dude I actually think I do look like is a little bit of Drake. But I've gotten ridiculous shit like Russell Wilson and like Adam Sandler, bro. I'm like, don't call me Adam Sandler, bro.
I don't see either of those.
No,
Nah.
Yeah. If you see me with short hair, bro, you would see it. Like
it's just... So for the Adam Sandler one, it's like an Islander Adam Sandler. Like that's the vibe I'm getting.
That's so funny, dude. At the show last Friday, this dude fucking said I looked like I was Samoan. I was like, no, I'm just German, Irish, and black, bro. Like,
he like stares at you like, nah, yeah, you're Samoan.
Yeah, exactly. No, I've gotten everything, bro. I've gotten like Middle Eastern, Indian, like Native, Samoan, like Mexican.
So you're telling me
like,
if that guy wouldn't have told you that you look like Drake, you may not be sitting here today?
Dude, maybe not. I don't know, like, because that's like when I first was like, that was the first time I felt relatable to like an artist.
Yeah.
As weird as it sounds, like, call it weird, but when you see somebody that you kind of look like, you kind of like look up to them, or like you feel like you're a kindred spirit to them, you kind of like, I don't know, you feel like you got to go in their footsteps in a way. Like,
it's funny he asked you that because I was gonna ask you. We haven't asked any other artists when they're here, which we should have, but like, so before you started like making, you know, words go on a beat and everything, there wasn't like any hobby or anything you did that kind of was relatable to that, like poetry or what's another one that you can kind of compare rap to?
Well, besides poetry, I would just say like battling.
Like anything like hip hop related.
No,
that, like, you never had
honestly, I wasn't very musically inclined. Like I did do choir. Like I took a choir class or two in middle school, but then I was like, oh, this ain't really my thing. I can't sing. But I liked music a lot. Like, music was always my shit growing up. Like, I could feel it, like, a lot. And, yeah, it became a quick passion of mine once I realized, like, oh, I can actually make these words come together and, like, sound good. And I was getting good feedback from it. So I was like, this is my shit. Like, I'm going to stick with it, you know?
Did you know of Drake before he was an artist? Like, you know,
no,
he was
I didn't
in
know
Degrassi
him
and
as
stuff?
the Degrassi dude.
No?
Like, I didn't even know of really Drake, like, before people told me, like, that I looked like him.
What's the first song you heard?
It was Fear. Fear.
That's one of my favorite songs.
And that is my favorite song by Drake.
That's a classic.
Yeah,
Fear is a classic.
As soon as I heard that, I was like, it just blew my mind. I was like, this guy is amazing. Like,
the first song we heard was Ransom with him and Wayne.
There you go. Yeah. That was like the second or third one too.
And the person who showed it to us was like, oh, this is a dude from Degrassi. And it didn't click with me at first, and then afterwards I'm like, oh shit, like that guy did that. And it was just crazy.
I almost didn't want to listen to it at first. I remember he knocked on our door, and it was the America's Most Wanted tour. And he was like, hey, you know that guy from Degrassi? He was there performing a Lil Wayne. I'm like, why? He's like, oh, he raps. I'm like, no, he doesn't. Show me a song. That changed my life because like I'm a huge Drake stan. Like I'm a huge fan of Drake, right? Like sometimes I take it overboard.
Yeah, no, so, I grew up like ever since that moment. Like I fell in love with Drake too. Like he is like a huge inspiration of mine. Like I remember, like when I was working at Walmart. Like that was when what was the album? Nothing Will Be the Same.
Nothing Was the Same. Yeah.
Nothing Was the Same. That album right there was like the turning point for the way I looked at music.
Hell yeah.
Like at that point, I would just like every time on break, bro, I'd just go slap that shit in my minivan, smoke hella weed, and just fucking marinate in the Drake. And I was like, dude,
this
is
still
amazing.
regarded as one of his like best albums. So
yeah, and that was when I was like, all right, I kind of get music.
There's
like,
nothing
I get it
wrong
on a totally
with
different
marinating
level.
in Drake, so.
Yeah, no, I mean that's like marinating in Drake and Wayne was like the way that I totally got to absorb what I believe was good hip hop, and then, you know, they like put me onto what it was like to feel passionate about it, and then I'd say the next guy that like super inspired me to get like technical with it was Tech 9. Like
I can see that.
Yeah, so like. Originally, I was kind of on like the Drake styled rap. Like I kind of wanted to be like him, and that was early on. And then I don't know. I stopped writing for a couple years because I didn't like how I was trying to be too much like him. Like I felt like I was trying to be too much, and I was like, I'm not authentic to me. Like I used to have a different SoundCloud called Lyrical Thoughts. That was my old rap name before Jay Fiddy, and.
Like THOT or like
no,
the
like
word
thoughts,
okay,
like
okay.
yeah.
Sorry.
No, not like thoughts, like freaky ass thoughts.
That could be like a rap group name for girls. You know?
That'd be funny.
Lyrical Thought.
Yeah, but I used to go by Lyrical Thought, and and dude, all you think is just
sorry,
these
bro.
freaky hoes with the dope bars. Now it's like, damn, bro, you actually spit.
City girls before the city girls.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like now welcoming Lyrical Thoughts. And there's a bunch of girls.
That's fucking hilarious, bro. But yeah, man, I just made remixes back then, and it was always over like the first beat I did was over to the Aston Martin music beat.
Ooh, classic beat too.
See, I was like, but I don't know, like if you listen to the way I was rapping, it kind of sounded like how Drake would sound, and then and then I started like making remixes to Wayne songs, and then I would just do all the metaphors like just like Wayne, and I was like, all right, man, I'm tired of trying to sound like everybody, you know, and that was kind of when I took a break from writing music.
Yeah,
I was like 20 years old. And I stopped writing, and then I got back on it when I was like 21 and a half, 22. But when I came back, like my biggest thing was to make sure that I was writing about my life. Because before that, when I was Lyrical Thought, I couldn't rap in front of my mom because I didn't want her to
hear what you were saying.
Yeah, and I didn't want to rap in front of like my family and shit. And that's when I was like, all right, this is an issue. You know, like, I need to start being more authentic to myself, you know, and so I started writing, you know, more personal shit, and then that's when I came back, and I was like, all right, now that I found me, and I can express me, like, I can stick with this forever.
And I can show you guys.
What was the first song you
showed them?
Put out after that happened?
Oh, Awake. It's on my, it's like
so this was like recently?
Yeah, this was, I'm
like
24, I'm 24, so 2 years ago was when I dropped Awake, yeah, and that was like the rebirth of Jay Fiddy, you know.
And then did you come out? Was that name? That was when you came up with that name.
Well, I mean, I always had the name Jay Fiddy in high school, but I didn't like make that my rap name
until after.
Excuse me. Yeah, until after that whole situation. But yeah, I mean, once I wanted to go by Jay Fiddy, it felt like way more authentic. You know?
I never asked other artists that come up here this, but like. You brought up a really good point. Like, I think I still go through that. Like, I love rap a lot, and I love making music, but there's a lot of music that we can't show, like, certain family members. It's like, it sucks that, like, you're super proud of something, right? And then it's like, hey, I can't show you, like, okay, so there's this one song that these guys released called Android 16, and it kind of sounds like Take a Step Back, and my aunt messaged me. I didn't share the song to her. I didn't tell her to listen to it. Right. And I even said a warning in the post. I said, hey, there's going to be some cussing, you know, for you guys who are a little bit older.
Yeah.
And she messaged me like, I had to turn it off after 10 seconds.
Right.
I just couldn't do it. I'm like, damn, the song wasn't even that bad. Come on, Aunt Barbie.
It kind of
chill,
was.
Dude.
I felt like
it kind of was.
I was the one that like edited and mixed it, so like I didn't realize it. But then after he showed me those messages, I'm like, nah, it's not that bad. And I went back and listened to it, and my cousin did the first verse, and like within like the first like 15 seconds, he had to have cussed like 10 times.
Right. Yeah.
It started the song says "fuck that bitch," yeah, fuck that bitch. I'm like, God, why did we not catch that at first? Like that's such
so
a bad
funny,
way
man.
to start a song.
I mean, it is what it is. I mean, at the end of the day, like I said, like once I accepted who I was, I think that's when I was like, all right, whatever I put out from this point, I'm gonna make it true to myself. And if people have an opinion on it, then that's that. But as long as I'm okay with it, and like I feel like it's me,
Then
and I can feel it, like whenever I'm rapping it, and I can do it right. Like, that's how I know it's me. And it don't, like, sound like anybody else. Like, when you can say it in your own voice and you can feel it in your own chest and it's not all up here, you know, like, you can actually feel it. That's when I was like, yeah, I can do this with any bars as long as I can feel them within myself.
I kind of had a similar thought like that, too, because, like, growing up around, like, the whole 2008, 2012-ish, there was, like, a huge, like, remix wave. Like, when it was, like, that
exactly.
wave. So, like, when him... and particularly Tyga, when they did remixes, it didn't sound like the original song.
Yeah,
that's what I liked
they kind of took over it and made it their own shit.
And it was like better than the original from like 9 times out of 10. So that's what I liked about it. So like the very first song that I ever did was a remix to Beamer, Benz, or Bentley. And like I just copied Joel Santana's whole entire flow, right? And at the time I thought I was cool for that. But then like when you look back, you don't want to do that. You don't want to copy them. You want to be like yourself. So like when like remixes and stuff like Tyga and Wayne, like they did their whole entire shit and it was them.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool. So.
Yeah, that is like a good way of like challenging yourself to be authentic. It's taking another beat and sounding like you know, and that's
instead of someone else.
Yeah, instead of somebody else, and you know, like that's why I like writing to other people's shit sometimes, because it's like, you know, how can I make sure that I don't use their flow? How can I make sure that I don't use their rhyme scheme and their same, you know, their same rap, like. You know, it's a good exercise as a rapper, you know, and you're not, like, sometimes you can't get it right that first time, but if you keep getting it, you know, you'll find yourself, and I think that's, like, the best part, is once you've, like, found that inner working with the lyricism and relating it to yourself, like, your music just comes off so much better.
What's the first song you, like, you mentioned when you showed your family and stuff, like, this is the song I showed them, like, what's for you, what would that be? Like
it was Awake. Like the first track that I dropped in 2017. I think it was 2017. Yeah, Awake.
What was their general response to it?
They loved it, man. Like they couldn't believe it. They're like, yeah, like this is you. We can tell. Like and it was a really passionate song of mine. Like every time I performed it, like I could do it like 10 times in a row, and still care about it. And like once I did that, I just like made sure that every song had that feeling for me. You know, because if it didn't have that feeling, like, it was almost a good thing that I came out with that one. Like, all my homies told me, they're like, why'd you come out this one? Like, now you got to try and top it. And I'm like, well, that's perfect. Like, this is what I need to top. I need to top the best of me, like, every single fucking time, you know? And now I can't even perform Awake like I can perform Cope, like, my new shit. Like, Cope goes off live. Like, I fucking feel that shit, and that's, like, some of my newer shit, you know? So it's like, I know as long as I keep challenging myself, like, how can I make sure that Cope, like, is an old feeling, you know? And then I come and, you know, lay down a dope verse.
That's one of my favorite songs. That when we did our second episode where we, you know, did Seattle Artists, that's the one we put.
Yeah, you guys shouted that one out, and that was really sick.
Because we've actually mentioned on a couple of our podcasts so far how we've actually met you. I met you before the Columbia City Theater, right? I met you before that, but... that's how we got introduced into that whole world of performing, which out of all the local rappers that I've ever met, you're kind of like, I've never seen someone that does that as much as you and as good as you. So as a rapper, how do you, like, what's the most fun you've had at a venue? Like, how do you prepare to go up there in front of people? And you seem like you have a lot of fun doing it. So like what performance have you done or openings that you like, this is the one I'll always remember?
Yeah, so, I mean, preparing-wise, I would say, you know, I did, like, 100 open mics, man. Like, open mics was how I got my stage legs. And it wasn't just, like, hip-hop open mics. Like, that shit that you guys came out to, excuse me, Scarlet Bird got me a little burpy. But that hip-hop open mic that I hosted at the Columbia City was, that was, like, the first hip-hop driven open mic I even heard of, was something that I had to create. Because before that, I was going to dive bars, the Skylark Cafe, the Stoneway Cafe, the shit, I can't think of all of them. Connor Byrne. There's a whole bunch of dive bars that were just filled with folk singers and acoustic guitarists, and I would be one of maybe 2 rappers to show up at these open mics.
How was that like?
That's nerve-wracking, bro.
Yeah.
Like at first you're like fuck, dude, I'm gonna be the only one doing rap here.
Yeah.
And then
so
all of a sudden,
nervous
like,
performing in general, but you have that uphill battle of like,
yeah,
I'm the only rapper here in a bunch
and
of...
that alone, I think, built my confidence to go up there. Cause like all of a sudden, I would go up there, I'd rip it up, and then like all these dudes who like don't have anything to do with rap, don't listen to it or nothing, they're like, I like your shit, bro, and like that is a good feeling to like convert almost. You're like, yeah, like. Now like I sell tickets to people who write acoustic music and folk music and like. You know what I mean? Like that's sick. Like,
that's inspiring, man.
It is, and that's how I prepared. That's how I got good at performing. I went out there and put myself in the most uncomfortable situations, not on purpose, but because I was hungry to perform. I was like, oh, these are the only open mics out? Well, I want to get my shit out there, and I want to meet people, and however the way I got to do it, I'm going to do it. You know, I'm not going to be scared. I'm not going to be the fact that I'm the only one rapping tonight. I'm not going to make me walk away. If anything, I want to make sure I come away with at least 1 or 2 people.
Yeah.
1 or 2 people every open mic, you know, and that would add up to 10 people a week, 15 people a week. I only had 400 followers, you know, from 2017, like the beginning of 2017, I had 400 followers.
On IG?
Yeah, on IG. And I built up to 1,100 organically. I'm not out here like paying for followers or anything like that. I went out and I earned that shit by going to the open mics, bro.
That's what I'm talking
about. And by
about,
meeting people, you know, and that's when I kept telling people online, you got to network, because that was real for me. Like I was seeing it. That's why I was saying it. I was like, bro, going out.
You were experiencing it.
I'm sitting here, I'm like, bro, all these people are asking questions, you know, like, oh, why am I not getting this? Why am I not getting that? It's like, go outside and go meet somebody. Mm-hmm. And go get those 2 people to follow you. Go get that 1 person to follow you, because then they might tell somebody. And next thing you know, 8 months later, you gathered about 200 extra people to follow you and to fuck with you.
Just off word of mouth.
To fuck with you, too. Like, because you met them in person. Not online, not hearsay, she say. You went out and you met people face to face, and you just gave it a chance to have a conversation. And next thing you know, they're at your show. Next thing you know, they're sharing your shit online. You know, it's things like that.
Pics and all that stuff, yeah.
Like your pics, because they're real people. You know, you're not hoping that the people that you known from 5 years ago are still hanging out on your Facebook. You gotta go meet new people because there's 1 billion, you know, or 7 billion, whatever. You gotta go meet them, you know, and you gotta go continue to refresh your connections, refresh them. Like, not only checking on your old ones, but going and making new ones, bro. Like, I ain't gonna lie, the last few months, I've been kind of in a slump, been in the hideout. I noticed that. I noticed the momentum. Momentum is everything, and making sure that you're going out at least like once every other week or once a week if you can, you know, but we're working, man. You know, we got a busy schedule. We get off weird times, and you know, it's hard sometimes, bro, but you know, when you get that chance, you go and fucking do it. You go and do it unapologetically because you care about what you're doing. You care about your podcast. You care about your music, and you care about yourself. So you go out there and you make sure you show other people that you care.
Yeah, because if you don't care, why should everybody else care, you know?
Exactly. If you care about yourself, other people will start caring about you too, you know? And that's, like, the biggest thing that I did to get ready was going and putting myself, you know, in a situation where I was, like, making it so people cared. You know, showing that I was something to care about, you know? And I don't know, man. It's hard to build that, but it happens over time, like, because you don't see it at first, but it'll happen.
So then on the opposite side of the spectrum, okay, because you mentioned, well, this might actually tie into it, but you went from like the highs of performing, now it's like the lows. So like, what is like a situation or a venue you performed, or even there was something he was mentioning where like, have you ever had a performance where like the crowd was just dead, or like people, like you were super energetic and inspired to perform, and like everyone's just like Like, how would you?
Because this is actually this leads into what I was gonna ask you. So you've actually performed for some pretty big names.
Oh yeah.
You've opened for some pretty big names in rap, and like that's super cool.
Yeah, like Wycleff Jean, Bone Thugs and Harmony,
Lupe, right?
Fiasco, Do or Die, Twisted Insane. Yeah, my girlfriend opened up with me at Lupe Fiasco. She's here.
Like, it kind of ties on what he's saying, because like, let's say that crowd, they're not there, they're only there for Lupe.
Oh yeah, no,
and
that's
you're
a thing.
killing it, but like they're just like, okay, like when you're on stage, your mental, like what's going on in your head as this is happening, like how do you keep that same energy and make it seem like you're not affected by it?
The worst one happened opening for Bone Thugs and Harmony, bro,
really?
and that was the biggest crowd, 1,500 people, Crystal Ballroom, bro, like packed.
Oh, in Portland,
fucking packed, bro, and the DJ had our BPMs on the beat turned up like 10. So it was like hella faster, and it was the Underdogs track. So that shit's already like chopping, like you already got to go quick, and he had it like turned up a little bit, so it didn't sound right. Like we're already going quick, so if you turn it up, it sounds like hyperspeed. So like you can tell that they couldn't keep up with the beat because it wasn't organic. So it was weird. Like we were up there fucking hitting, and like they're like kind of fucking with it, but they're like trying to understand it more, you know. So it's like, I think it's a good opportunity to open for these big names. Like the best one that I did was Wycleff, because I had a whole bunch of locals come out. It was at the Showbox, so like, you know, I had a whole bunch of people that knew me come out, so it was a good opportunity. I got to stage dive, sold like, you know, 40 tickets. It was great. But then like you go out to Crystal Ballroom out in Portland, nobody knows you, so they're kind of listening. And they're not super fucking with you unless you got like club hits and they're just a bop that people can kind of dance to. But if you're like a lyricist, people kind of like sit there and give you that like, okay, bro, he's kind of spitting, but they're kind of checking you out to see if you're real. So they're just like,
what did you call it? He turned up the what?
It's the beats per minute.
Oh, like, yeah.
The beats per minute, so he made the beat faster.
The guy in the crowd's like, hey, I think they turned up the BPM.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're like, bro, why is he gotta go so hard? It's like,
he's going hard for us.
You're like, fuck, bro. Like,
what's another thing, like, when you're performing, like, what's something else that's, like, that you could tell people at home, like, what's difficult about, like, is it getting on stage in front of that 1,500 and, like, you have to, they're looking at you and they're like, oh, damn, no, like...
Yeah, I mean, I'd say, like, I don't know. I was kind of drunk, like, so I didn't really care. Like, I don't know. I've had like some of the most nerve-wracking shit is sometimes like the most low-key ones. Like, cause I don't know, like you got to kind of like look at them in the face whenever there's like 1,500. You can just kind of look off in the distance. You got a lot to look around at.
Have you met? Like, did you get a chance to meet the people you were opening for?
No, I actually didn't.
Oh wow.
I didn't. Yeah, it was kind of disappointing, but you know they're busy people. Yeah. You know, like Wycleff, after he's done, he's got to go meet fans, not really meet the performer, you know.
Yeah.
And then like Bone Thugs, they just like dipped out the back, you know, after they're done. And I don't know, like they're busy people, man. I mean, it would have been cool. The only person I got to meet that I opened up for was Twisted Insane, and that was out in Montana. We opened up for him out in Bozeman and like Helena and stuff for the Shit Show tour. And yeah, I got to meet him. He was a really humble dude. He's rapped with Tech-9.
He was pretty cool.
Did he, you know, show you love and like?
Yeah, I got to flick it up with him and everything, you know. So it was cool. I got to say my piece to him, tell him, you know, how much he inspired me and whatnot. And he was really humble. So, you know, I didn't get to meet any others, but the one that I did get to meet, it was a good experience.
It's good.
Yeah.
All right. So last episode we did it was called Game of Thrones, the microphone edition, where we ran down a list of like which artist in their prime made more of an impact on hip hop. I was gonna do that this week, but I was like, you know, let's switch it up for Jay Fiddy. So, basically I made up like a whole hip hop pop quiz. And just for people who are listening at home, no, he does not know what questions I'm gonna ask him before. So this is basically like on spot. So, the first question, so we have 5, right?
Okay.
So the first one that I'm gonna ask you is who's the first rapper to win a Grammy?
First rapper to win a Grammy.
And this is, I would say, like, it's in the grand scheme of hip hop, it's kind of like an important thing Cause like Grammys, you know well as I do, Grammys kind of shit on like rappers.
Let's say Dr. Dre.
Ooh, Dr. Dre.
Yeah.
All right, so it's gonna be a no on that one, but I don't know. Do you think we should do like 2 each? Like you get 2 guesses before I tell you the.
Let's see. Okay, if it's not Dr. Dre.
But that is a good guess, though.
Is it?
Yeah, that's a good guess.
It's in that same era.
Same era?
Mm-hmm. Ish, right?
Nas? No?
No, so it's actually DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince for their song Parents Just Don't Understand.
Damn, I was gonna guess Will Smith too, but
yeah.
Damn.
I didn't know that. So when I actually looked this up, I was actually surprised because I actually thought it was gonna be like a Dr. Dre or like Lauryn Hill or something. I didn't think it was gonna be these guys. So not a lot of people probably know that.
Right. No, that's a good one to know though.
The second question that I wrote off for you is who's the first rapper to win an Oscar?
Oscar.
So I even got this wrong because I thought it was somebody that it wasn't. So
I knew this, and if you once you hear the answer, you're probably like, oh fuck. If you don't already know.
First rapper to win an Oscar. Ice-T?
No.
No?
No. So who's your second guess? I told you like this one's like a. It kind of threw me off.
I don't know. Who is it?
So it's 3-6 Mafia for their song on Hustle.
Oh,
Hustle.
yeah.
See? Yeah.
No, I actually remember that because they always mention that. We were like, the first rapper.
I thought it was Eminem for the email because he did win an Oscar for that movie.
No, that's right. 3-6 Mafia.
Yeah, it's
that
for their
rings
song
a
on
bell.
Hustle and Flow.
Yeah, that's true, huh?
See, I told you like these questions are like once you hear the answer, you're like, oh damn, see, I should have got that. The third question that I wrote down for you is which rapper currently holds the most Grammys?
The most Grammys. Juicy J.
Ooh, no. So the name though that is the answer is in that same ballpark of names. So you want me to tell you?
Yeah.
It's Jay-Z with 22.
Jay-Z, there you go.
At
The
22.
GOAT.
He actually mentions that in a song. Where he,
Did he mention that in like the 4/4 album? The 4/4?
No, it was the song that he had on DJ Khaled. Yeah.
I thought it was him and Beyonce song, right?
Well, they're in that song, but it's a DJ Khaled. It's not even a DJ Khaled song. I hate that shit.
I thought it was gonna be like Eminem or Kanye.
Shining.
Shining.
Yeah. Him and Kanye were tied with 21 for the longest time, but then I think he just won one this past Grammys. They put him at 22.
Oh, okay, cool.
This next one, me and you had to talk about this before, because I remember making a comment to you like, hey, so the question is who's the first female rapper, and I remember saying I said some stupid name to you, and you actually gave me the name to this, so. I don't know if you remember. This was a while ago, so it could be something that like just slipped.
Yeah, I don't know. I would say Queen Latifah, but I feel
that's
like...
a good guess, but no, it's not.
No, who is it?
It's actually MC Lyte.
MC Lyte?
Yeah, I remember me and you were talking about that one time, and you said, you said something like, oh no, it's MC Lyte. And
Really?
I went and looked her up. I looked up on YouTube, and I'm like, oh wow, that is.
Did we talk about that at Columbia City? Is that
I think me and you probably talked about it at work.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I remember, I think it was either like one of your family members said something about female rappers. And I said something like, oh, I only know Nicki Minaj and Lil' Kim. I was being stupid. Obviously. Cardi B,
Cardi B.
Yeah. But then you said that name, and I had to look it up, so.
Right.
The last question on the hip-hop pop quiz is, which rap group is widely known as the first rap group in hip-hop?
Yeah, Sugar Hill Gang.
Yeah, that's the answer.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, so.
Hop, a hippie to the hip, hopping, you don't stop, a rocket to the bang, bang.
Is that the song that's 14 minutes long?
Yeah, I think so.
That's crazy,
it's hella long,
dude.
Bro.
There's some songs that are like trash and it's only 2 minutes. These guys had like a 14-minute hip-hop classic.
Yeah.
That's crazy, dude.
I mean, back then they used to party all night, so they'd have it on replay too.
So is it? Do they call it the Sugar Hill Gang? Cause like sugar for like is that why they call it that?
Maybe I don't know. Maybe they lived on Sugar Hill.
Ooh, that'd be crazy. Like, hey, where you from? Hey, yo, Sugar Hill.
He thought it was like something deep. Is it Sugar Hill for drugs? Like no.
Like a mountain of sugar.
Yeah.
Sugar.
Can you imagine? Ew, they're starting beefs with like, where are you from? I'm from Sugar Hill. Ew, no, you're not,
Sugar
bro.
Hill
Chill.
Gang, baby.
Give Sugar Hill diabetes, dude.
Diabetes.
Another thing we do actually with artists that come up here is we usually do like what classic movie is better, this movie or this movie. In the past,
so like the first one we had Baby Boy and
Boys in the Hood.
Boys in the Hood, and then we moved into trilogies.
Yeah.
We compared a trilogy Friday to a trilogy Rush Hour. So and then the last one we did gangster movies where it was Goodfellas and Scarface. So we're gonna switch it up this time. Go to TV shows.
Oh, okay,
so, So we actually got. I think these are like two of the biggest TV shows that in my era. You know, nowadays it's like Flapjack and like all this other stuff. But I actually put. So you'd have to choose one to never exist out of these two, DBZ or Pokemon.
To never exist.
Yeah, so you have to choose one that you'd put over the other one, and the other one never exists.
I mean, honestly.
So you like Thanos, or not, bro? You snap your finger.
So growing up, I had like the DBZ VHS tapes. Like they had like seasons of DBZ, and if you had the whole season of the VHS tapes, it created a picture. So like,
oh, I remember that. Yeah,
bro.
hell yeah.
So like, I used to have a whole like all of them, like the one of the dragon, the one of Frieza, the one of Goku and shit. Yeah. So it was like, I watched that shit. Versus like Pokemon was more on the video game. So like if I could erase the TV show but keep the video game of Pokemon, I picked DBZ to keep as a TV show because I mean that's like the best part about DBZ is watching the TV show. Yeah.
The games are pretty lit too, like Budokai and all that stuff.
I used to fuck with it. Yeah,
I had the Game Boy Advance. And like in my 10th birthday, I got the Legacy of Goku when it very first came out. So Dragon Ball Z for me, I would keep it because like we're the same age. So like I like Dragon Ball Z was like my show for like 10 plus years.
I wanted to be like Vegeta. You know what I mean? Like I tried to go Super Saiyan under the blankets. They'd be like, "What the fuck are you doing up there, bro?" I'm trying to go Super Saiyan, Mom. What the fuck?
Your mom's like, "Do the dishes, James." And you're like, "No."
Do you want me to just snap all of these dishes? I'm just so fucking strong, bro. Like,
I remember in the 90s. I remember when Pokemon first premiered on TV. Yeah. Right. So I remember I'm in my living room watching it, and in the beginning when like Gengar's doing that little dance and like he like takes out that Pokemon, and Ash wakes up with the alarm clock.
Oh yeah.
That always stuck with me because I remember being hella small in California, being like I think I was like 8 or 7 years old, watching Pokemon premiere on my TV. So like, I still would choose DBZ though, because DBZ I still watch it. I still watch it to this day. So
it's had a longer impact. From Pokemon. Like Pokemon's cool, but like DBZ has just stuck with me like through each phase of life so far.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, I watched a lot of Pokemon too when I was younger. So, like I remember the movie when it first came out, and like they had a whole bunch of TV shows with it. But man, like I was obsessed with playing Pokemon on the Game Boy.
Oh, like, which one? Gold, silver?
The first one I got was red. And I got all the Pokemon. Like, I still have it at the crib, I'm pretty sure. Like, because I wanted to hold on to it forever. I was like, dude,
the
you
games
have no
are so
idea
legendary
how many hours
too.
I put into this thing, Yeah, the games really are legendary. It's crazy.
I think my favorite's either gold or silver, because you could play the Kanto and Johto regions.
Right. Yeah, so, I had the gold one. What was...
Ho-Ho was on the cover.
Ho-Ho, there you go. Yeah.
So out of the games, though, like, I don't know, because, like...
No, I think Pokemon, the games are better for sure.
Yeah,
the DBZ,
because like DBZ only has like they have like their fighting games like now, but like
the Pokemon adventure part to it and like collecting all the Pokemon and shit is unbeatable, bro.
Where like you had to like ride on the.
It was like a little
river
raft.
Cart, and it would take you through a map, and you had to snap pictures of Pokemon as they came up.
Pokemon Stadium.
We had the
Game
Stadium
Boy was the shit too for the 64.
Bro, so you remember Pokemon Stadium too?
Yeah.
So when we were kids, we were like, we couldn't really afford that game, so we were really bummed out. So we're sitting out in the yard playing, and we're sitting there, and our cousin Elena walks up to us. She goes, guys, look what I found. And she shows us Pokemon Stadium too.
No way. It had the gold one, right?
Yeah.
It was the Nintendo 64 game, but it didn't have the cover. It was just a gold game.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Then, so like we tried to like,
it was in the dirt, because remember she found it buried.
Yeah, but she found it in the ground. And like,
oh my god!
Yeah, so we like dried it off. It blew the cartridge, everything like that. We put it in, and we found that it was that game.
That's
and
crazy.
We all started freaking the fuck out. We're like, oh, how did you find this? And like, she found it in the ground.
Our parents were like hella freaked out. Like, where'd you guys get this? Because you had just told us you wanted it. And she found it buried like let's say like this is our house.
Yeah.
Like it was like in this patch of grass. Like it was weird, dude. It was almost like Santa Claus
extraterrestrials, man. They're looking out for you.
Hell yeah, dude.
Like we'll just beam it down for them.
We'll just beam it down.
Yeah, we'll beam it down.
Let's just fuck up their life. So that's a good one. So speaking of extraterrestrials, I think I saw a post.
That is a good segue.
Yeah, it is. It's perfect. Yeah. I think I've seen a post on Facebook that you've done before, and basically, yeah, what's your favorite conspiracy theory, man? Like, you seem like you would be a good person to talk to about that.
So, like, extraterrestrials, like, so there's a conspiracy about the Anunnaki. You know who the Anunnaki is?
That's one of my favorite ones,
yeah,
dude.
dude,
Yeah,
like,
I don't know what that is.
So, the Anunnaki are from planet Nibiru, and they're supposed to have came here about, like, 500,000 years ago or so. And they, like, I don't know.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, but weren't they trying to create a slave race?
They were trying to create a slave race and have them mine gold.
And we became too smart, so they left.
Yeah, or something. Either that or they just, like, they might still drop down every once in a while, collect their shit, you know? Like, so they probably run the country. Like, I think Donald Trump is part of the Anunnaki.
He said,
blood-sucking
everybody gets a wall, okay? That's what we're going to do, right?
Fuck you, Donald Trump.
Yeah, fuck you. Trump's like, you know what? I'm just going to go back to Nibiru, okay?
Yeah, Nibiru. That's where he is all the time.
Like, I almost like feel annoyed for our friends because, like, any chance we get, like, that's a conspiracy theory too. Let me tell you about it. We can go on for, like, literal hours about some of, like, the weird shit. Like, some of my favorite ones, and, it's your favorite, but you don't know the name. Fuck. I'll look it up. It's like it's the Bohemian Grove.
Bohemian Grove,
the owl, and like there's actual footage of like people, flames
Alex
and torches,
Jones,
all the elite like huddled around this owl and like chanting and praying and like
some creepy shit, dude.
Yeah.
It's creepy when you like look into some of the conspiracy theories because you're like, aren't these people still around, or like aren't there people connected to them?
So we would talk about this before we filmed this, but the JFK one, that's already. I don't know why this is not getting bigger news, but on Vlad TV he interviewed this guy, a former mobster named Michael Francis.
Yeah.
And Michael Francis literally said on the interview, "Yep, I know that the mob killed JFK." Like, cause his dad, JFK's dad, was super involved with the mafia and like prohibition and all that stuff. No way. And I guess he owed them hella money. And so they're like, "Yeah, we're gonna teach you a lesson. We're gonna take your son out." And that's why the government will never admit to that. Why would you want to tell your people that the mafia was so powerful at one point that they could kill the president?
Yeah, and that's what makes me super skeptical too. Is like the government like hiding shit and not telling you the truth because they actually set up a whole lot of shit
and it backfired.
Yeah, and it backfires, or like they're the reason why a lot of shit goes south, and then they don't want you to know. Like they try and sweep it under the rug, or they'll tell you lies like, "Oh, we're not actually gonna do this, but then we're gonna go do it," and like we're not gonna go bomb the Middle East, but we bomb it all the fucking time, and like I don't know, it's just crazy shit.
So
but, like,
I super agree with you because there's a bunch of stuff that I think that they condition you for because they know that it's going to happen. Maybe not in a set amount of time, but let's say they know that this is gonna happen in like 5-10 years, so they condition it through radio, TV shows, stuff like that. So by the time it happens, you're already like desensitized, or like it's normal for you that you don't really care.
Yeah.
So for example, what was the one thing that they, I think it was like the California fires. And again, it's a conspiracy, so if it sounds crazy as fuck, that's probably because it is. So like they put it in like I think it was in like a Terminator movie, where like 10 years ago, 20 years ago, there was like, oh, California fires this, California fires, and then like it's like a thing, but then like there's a conspiracy that the government is behind California fires. They're like trying to like. I'd have to look it up, but
they can like control the weather and shit,
like stuff
and
like that. Like
control
I think
disasters.
That they have more pull than we give them credit for.
Yeah, there's been a few times where I thought that too. I'm like sitting here, I'm like, these bastards are making it hot as the son of a bitch today, aren't they? They're trying to light the whole goddamn West Coast on fire. Like, yeah, I mean, what was it? I don't know. Is it HARP?
I think
HARP, the people
machine?
that they're saying, the weather machine and shit, and like. I don't know, you can call it whatever, but there's even that, what's that movie, with Jim Carrey?
The Truman Show?
Truman Show, right? So, like, how they, like, can control shit, like, with that, like, I don't know, I've always, like, thought that's a possibility, too.
I'm, like, super shitty at, like, conveying my ideas out, so I sound like a fucking idiot, but that's what I was trying to get across.
I feel like that's how conspiracy theories work. Every time you try to explain a conspiracy theory, you have it all fucking puzzled together in your head, but you don't know how to speak it.
When you're alone, the one that I think is absolutely true, and, like, you'd have to literally show me evidence that it's not, is 9/11. I think the government did 9/11, don't.
Absolutely,
and that
right?
goes back to
Like,
the
that
conditioning thing I was talking
about.
about. I think that they had plans of going over there and doing some,
They need an
crazy
excuse,
shit. So
yeah.
they needed an excuse to condition us to agree with them for that reason.
Yeah.
Like, oh, fuck the terrorists and this.
Yeah,
and
it's
that,
all
so that
called
way we-
propaganda, bro. This
Yeah.
has been a thing that's been going on for hundreds, probably thousands of years. As soon as there's a media outlet, whether it be newspapers, messenger, somebody fucking walking around with an air horn, whatever the fuck, somebody is delivering news from a source, and that source wants to have power of who's hearing what. You know what I mean? So, like, it's been going on for as long as probably humans have been around. Propaganda, fear, conditioning, it's all manipulation.
A lot of it's fake, too. Like,
Yeah,
a lot of
and
it's
I mean,
fake.
manipulation is one of the most powerful things that humans can do, like to alter other people's reality to not the truth. Now you're ahead of the game.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and that's what's scary is like being able to manipulate people is something that people take pride in doing, and they practice it every single
Like
day.
social media, they'll see a video, okay? Like he was telling me about one about Nancy Pelosi. Well, I guess it's his
Recently,
Facebook.
yeah.
Yeah, it's his Facebook video that's going on that's not real. It's not really her.
Right.
But Donald Trump is tweeting about it like it's really her. Like and you know how his followers believe him?
Yeah.
So now you're seeing people on Facebook like drunk Pelosi. Yeah, that she's just a drunkard, and like they're like, but it's obviously fake.
It's a clearly altered video. It's been proven that it's altered, but they're pushing that.
And he's pushing it too, and like that's what you were just talking about. Like
Yeah.
you're pushing something that's not even real, and your followers are like, like, God dang it, that drunk Pelosi tell you full, like they believe that stuff. Like,
yeah, it's crazy.
Like-
Dude, one of my homies, so they're like, this is on a way smaller scale. It's not fucking Trump, but one of my homies shared like a whole bunch of fake news shit. Like he keeps sharing from this site that on the site it says we don't care about the facts.
Oh, the
It's
Onion?
like,
Is it the Onion?
No, it's not the Onions. It's called like World News Daily Report, bro, and it's not a real news delivery. It was like,
dude.
or not a news, like a real news fucking site. Because it was like, oh, man eats 31 people, including pizza delivery guy. And he gets like 100 shares on it. I'm like, dude, if you go to the website at the top, it literally says where facts don't matter.
they
It's
take
like a
advantage
fake
of that
fucking
now.
website. And you got all these people are commenting on it and shit. And like, I'm like, bro, how... You're like making people more stupid by fucking doing
That's
this.
all
Like,
this is doing.
yeah, and it's like, that's what I don't promote, bro. That's why I'm like, I barely go on social. I would way rather talk to you guys like this. You know what I mean?
And
like,
I think that they know people do that now, so it's easier to like make someone believe a headline because they know that no one's gonna fucking like read the article and do that.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
there was an article that I saw from the Onion, and I'm surprised people still don't know what that is. And it says that this dude, they put up a random picture of this white guy, and they're like, he got 40, 50 years in prison for injecting people with AIDS instead of the vaccine that they signed up for. And then this lady, I don't know who it was, but she like shared the article and she was like, why do they even have AIDS in a tube to inject people with? I'm like, it's an Onion article. Like, did you
yeah,
not
the
read
Onion
that?
is fake
Yeah.
news. Like, they just make funny articles, right?
Yeah,
like,
so then like she got like, I think it was like 23, 24 shares off that. That's still wild to me that people were just like, you're injecting people with AIDS and the government is...
Yeah.
And it's an Onion article. Like
deepfakes is getting even worse too. Mm-hmm. You know what deepfakes is, right?
that's the...
no, I don't think so.
So that's part of the Pelosi video I was just mentioning. Like, they're getting so good at, let's say they take your face, right?
yeah.
And they put your face over something else. But it's getting so good that I can't tell whether it's you or not. Like, it's to the point where I can walk up to somebody like, okay, let's say your girlfriend, for instance, right?
Yeah.
Let's say I was beefing with you. I would never beef with you, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, look at, here's Jay with another girl, look. And they could take your face and put it on another guy, and it looks like you. And
That's
look,
so
yeah,
crazy.
and like there's look at
We're
we'll pull up
entering
one.
an era
Yeah.
in which our enemies can make it look like anyone is saying anything at any point in time, even if they would never say those things.
Wait,
So-
is this a fake Barack Obama?
For instance, they
yeah, it
could
does
have
look
me
kind of
say
like a
things
fake
like,
Barack Obama, though. Like, if you
know.
look at his eyes,
Killmonger was right.
yeah, he don't look
No,
like
that's
Barack.
actually Barack
Ben
Obama,
Carson
but they're
is in
using
the
a
sunken
voice
place. Or,
actor to
how about
play
this?
his voice.
Simply,
So like he's trying to
President
like spread
Trump
awareness
is
Bro,
for
he,
it.
doesn't his
Complete
face kind of
dipshit.
look different,
And
though?
maybe his
Now,
face is, but I think
let
that's
me
the whole
see.
point
See,
of the
I would
concept
never
of
say
it.
these
different.
things, at least not in a public address. But someone else would.
Doesn't he?
Let me
Yeah.
see.
Maybe it
He
is.
looks animated.
Like Jordan Peele. This is a dangerous time.
Doesn't he look
Maybe
animated,
maybe
bro?
that video is.
That-
Yeah.
Moving
that don't
forward,
look
we need
like
to
the
be
real
more
Barack in the
vigilant
Okay,
face.
of
so
what
there's
we
other
trust
ones
from the
like
internet. It's
with
a time
porn
when we need to
stars,
rely.
right? They'll
Say
take
porn stars?
Yeah, they'll take a porn video and they'll take like Natalie Portman and put her face over it. A lot of them are garbage, though, okay? So, like, you could tell, like, there's some that are fake. But there's some people who are getting so good at it that you'll think that, like, Ariana Grande has a porn video. And it's starting to become, like,
it kind of goes back to what we were just talking about. Like, there's people stupid enough to believe a headline. Then there's going to be people stupid enough to believe that Ariana Grande is really in that video doing that, even though it's clearly, like, altered and digitally, like, made.
How do you prove it? How do you prove it's wrong?
The internet is such a hard thing to fucking navigate through.
And there's a program right now that I watched a video about where, let's say you, into a microphone, you say 15 sentences that are already pre-written out. They can take those 15 sentences and construct a digital Jay Fiddy, like, voice to where they can make you say whatever, and it sounds like your voice is actually saying that.
Dude, artificial intelligence is getting
it's
crazy.
crazy.
That's just getting wild.
Like,
they're gonna be able to manipulate everything with the media.
Yeah, like, it's to the point where, like, if, like, someone said, hey, you committed a murder, and they show us a tape, like, how are we supposed to prove if that's wrong, if that's real or not?
Imagine a real corrupt government who's just out, like, you know, they just don't like what you're doing. You know what I mean?
So it's deepfake this guy.
Yeah, exactly. That'd be crazy, bro. I mean, that's kind of scary. It gets scary when you no longer have control. It gets scary when you don't have control of what people see, like, because it's not you. With
your voice and your image.
Yeah. It's like what are you supposed to say to it? You know, like, at that point, it's like I can yell and scream that it's not me, that's not me. But if they have that.
And we're already in a culture where, like, now the whole innocent till proven guilty thing kind of doesn't even exist anymore.
No.
If I was like, oh, Jay
really
Fiddy did that, you'd have to prove you didn't rather than, hey, show me where I did do that.
Yeah. No, it gets bad. People like to run with that negative shit, like, to the ground. So it's getting hard, man. If you get stuck in some quicksand, bro.
It's like a weapon, basically, almost. Like, you can use it for anybody. Like, women can use it against guys. Guys can use it against women. Like, guys can use it against each other. It's like...
Yeah.
That what you brought up is right, because it is kind of scary. Like, not only this is only going to get better, like, the technology.
Yeah.
It's only going to get better and more advanced.
It always will. And, you know, the organic humanity that we share and experience is going to degrade. It's going to degrade. Like, eventually it's just going to be like, that's what is our God, in a way, that creates our reality, you know, is the...
So sorry, guys, the camera cut off during when we were talking about deepfake, so, you know, it could be the SD card, but I'm just going to blame the government, so.
Yeah, it makes for a more interesting.
Kind of suspicious.
I mean, so before we get off that topic, is there, like, another one that, like, I don't want to say funny conspiracy theory, but, like, there is funny ones. Like, there's one I read the other day that's, like, that, which I don't get it, like, we're trying to not population control, but, like, we're trying to kill people through food.
Yeah,
like, what's the point of that?
Yeah,
bro?
no,
like,
I've heard about that shit. Like,
what's the point of killing people through food? Like, isn't food supposed to be, like, good? Like,
yeah, it's that kind of one is, like, kind of creepy to me, man. It's like, fuck, dude. Like, every time I eat something, it's like, am I supposed to think that it's actually
gonna
not
kill me?
Gonna give me any nutritional nothing? Like, it's actually, like, degrading my life because I put it inside of me. Like, that sucks.
So I've never heard of that, but that actually kind of makes sense, because it's like, if you're trying to build a stronger, you know, set of people or whatever, like, I'm gonna feed you this, and if you take it, you know, we know you're stronger, like, but if you don't, then
like, there's a reason why organic food costs more. You know what I mean? Like,
I never understood that until now that I'm older. That I get that, though.
Yeah, because it's like, it actually doesn't have anything that's gonna degrade your life. Like, it's gonna enrich you.
Makes you better.
Yeah, versus, like, non-organic shit. It has, like, pesticides and shit. But I mean, fuck it.
It's like just a little bit of rat poison. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, exactly. I mean, I smoke. I fucking drink. Whatever. Might as well as eat some pesticides while you're at it. Like,
it kind of, like, in a way, it kind of, like, makes me hella mad that there's, like, a group of, like, and it is white guys. Okay, I don't care what people say. There's an old group of white guys in suits that sit around and fucking decide stuff for us.
Yeah.
Like, who put you guys in charge, bro?
Yeah.
Like, why don't you guys make organic food cheaper than McDonald's? Maybe we'll fucking eat an apple or two instead of fries.
Yeah, no shit, bro.
Okay, but they sit around a room like, hey, let's make the organic food more expensive. Like, you know, I don't get that.
Yeah, fucking 2 ounces of blueberries is $7.99, you shithead. Like, bro, I'm gonna, like, smash that in, like, 30 seconds. Like,
he's, like, smoking a J in the little room. He's like, yeah, we should make weed illegal. Like, as a token, like, bro, come on.
Yeah, America, we're, like, you know, the fat country, and like, you know, we have this obesity problem, but he's right. Like, fries is like $1 compared to an apple that's like, you know, you just said you buy like 2 apples for like $3.
Bro, I go to, like, my sister works at this place called Athens Pizzeria.
I've heard of that.
Yeah. Bro, it's like $12 for a goddamn Caesar salad, and I'm not even gonna be full afterwards.
Yeah,
like,
bro.
Jesus
She
Christ.
can't give you the
like,
sister discount, bro.
No, you know, she's trying to get a tip.
Yeah.
She can't give you the discount.
Throw me
You
the
only
sister
gonna-
discount,
You
bro.
only gonna tip her a few bucks. She's gonna run it up, so you gotta fucking you know, leave her a 10 spot or something.
Say, sorry, you're not gonna be full, but you know, I need mine. So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. So before we end this podcast, is there any like future music plans for you guys that you could tell the fans about, or any new music by you guys?
Do you have like are you working on an album, and you like an EP, mixtape, you know?
I mean, as of right now, just because of how things went the last like 6 months of my life, you know, up and downs, new living situations every other fucking month type shit, like just trying to figure it out. You know, we've been kind of just taking a step back and taking whatever opportunities we can. This last Friday was my first performance since November. So
It's
like,
been a while then.
It's been like 6 months, man. So I don't have any other shows lined up, you know. At the moment. I don't have an album in the works. As of right now, I'm just trying to get things moving again.
I wouldn't mind doing a song with you. Like, I was actually telling them that the people that we have come up here, we should start doing songs with them.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That'd be the shit.
And I know, like, our styles are a little bit different, but I wouldn't mind, like changing the way I write for a song to do with you, or vice versa. Like, I wouldn't mind, like, doing that type. Like, the song Cope. I wouldn't mind doing a song like that. Like, that's a good song. So like,
yeah, I mean, I even got songs like Honor Roll and Underdogs where it's more just like hardcore rap. So it's like we can get down and like, you know, I can lay down
some bars and shit.
Yeah, exactly, bro. We can do whatever.
Like a cypher type of. I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah, the cypher,
dude.
that'd be the shit, bro.
I love that. I love just testing like my pen.
Yeah, me too, bro.
Like,
it's a good exercise. Like, and I think networking is a huge thing. You know, like, sure, we're doing this podcast, but a song would be bigger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
You know, and then, like, if we did something next year, it'd be bigger than the last, so.
So, sorry to...
Oh, you're good.
Yeah, that was kind of a weird interruption. But you have merch, no? I could have swore you have, like, the double I thing
Oh,
going
yeah.
on.
I used to have stickers. I used to have these little mini Fiddy stickers. And
mini Fiddy stickers. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Mini Fiddy,
that's fire, dude. Yeah.
I don't have one on
Mini
this
Fiddy.
phone, and I don't think you got one, do you, huh, baby?
The mini Fiddy stickers,
Hey,
bro. That's
there
fire.
it is. All right.
Hey,
so
guys, if you like these, man, let them know,
I
man.
used
We
to
could...
have these. I don't know if it'll fucking. It might not do it. But this fucking four-eyed fuck right
We'll
here.
put this there. We'll put that.
It's just it was a mini Fiddy sticker, bro.
We'll put We'll put a picture up if you want us to. Yeah.
Yes, I mean it's cool, but yeah, that was like the only merch I really had. I mean, I burnt some CDs for the homies and shit, but
Yeah.
Do you plan on like? That's what my question was. Sorry.
yeah.
Was, like, do you
So
plan on going
there's
any
the
merch?
homies over at 30 Plus Clothing. We've been talking about it for the last few months about doing a collab, like cause that Cope the cover art. We were thinking about putting that on like a crew neck sweater.
You guys should.
You know
man.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And then she's got a single out called Dreamin', which is fire.
We'll link that.
Got your boy on it. But the cover art from it is amazing. This chick, Lena Huang, she did it, and it's like this like 3-faced, like super vibrant orange, like and blue, like summery vibes cover art, and we were gonna slap that on a t-shirt and maybe do it with some tie-dye. So we got some ideas in the work. It's just about, you know, the timing and being able to invest into that. So, you know, we're getting things moving. I'm probably just gonna stick to releasing singles until I'm in a better position to get in album mode.
That's important.
You know what I
too,
mean?
so,
Like, but you know, I'm sure you've seen. I just drop like sometimes like random bars on Instagram. You know, post up a little 1-minute verse.
That's never bad. That's
You
never
know,
too bad of
like
a
just
thing. Yeah.
feeding the people. You know, making sure I keep my name out there.
Keep your sword sharp.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
hey guys, in the description we'll link the song Cope. The stick. We're gonna do the sticker. That was too far not to do the sticker.
Yeah.
The song Dreamin'. Anything that we've mentioned today, it's gonna be in the description below. And yeah, so I don't know how to say another aneurysm. So in the comments. So like I said, guys, go follow these guys on Instagram. Go support their stuff. What you were just talking about, I really hope you do that. And I would buy one. So
yeah, dude.
Yeah, so if you guys do that,
the merch will be coming soon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely, brother. Thank you for having me, man.
Yep. Until next time, guys.
Yeah.
All right.
Someone that'll love me when I'm